All right, let's talk about a strategy that can absolutely change the game when you're selling your home. It's called home staging, and honestly, it's kind of like a secret weapon for getting a faster sale and, yes, a higher price.
So let's just dive right in. We're going to start with a problem that I'm sure keeps a lot of home sellers up at night.
I mean, seriously, have you ever wondered this? It's so frustrating, right? You see a house down the street get a sold sign in what feels like 5 minutes, while another one that looks pretty similar just lingers for months. What is going on there? What's the invisible force at play? Well, it very often comes down to one key difference. And here is that difference. As real estate agent Lou Corcoran says, home staging is the art of creating a story for your home. Now, the most important part of this slide is that distinction at the bottom. This is not about your personal taste. It's not about your favorite couch. It's the strategic marketing tool. The whole point is to make buyers walk in and immediately fall in love.
Okay, but talk is cheap. The results are what really matter. So let's look at some real-world examples from right here in Southeastern Massachusetts that show just how powerful this strategy can be.
So our first story takes us to this absolutely charming coastal cottage in Plymouth. Now, this property had a ton of potential, but it really needed a little help for buyers to see it. The approach they took was so simple, but it was completely transformative. A fresh coat of paint just to brighten everything up, a really good decluttering session, and then they strategically arranged the furniture to make every room feel bigger. And the result? The house was under contract in just 5 days.
But here is the number that really tells the story. It didn't just sell fast, it sold for a full 10% above the asking price. Just think about that for a second. For a small bit of effort up front, the sellers didn't just get their investment back, they made a significant profit. Now that is the power of staging.
Okay, so you might be thinking, that works for a cute cottage, but what about a different kind of property? Great question. Let's head over to Fall River and look at a modern condo that was having a tough time getting noticed.
For this space, the strategy was all about its modern appeal. They brought in some contemporary furniture, used a neutral color palette to make it feel really calm, and this is a great tip. They used minimal window coverings to make the amazing view the star of the show. It created this open, airy vibe that buyers just loved. It was sold in under a week. All right, for our last case study, we've got a classic turnaround story. This is a family home in Attleboro that had been sitting on the market for months with pretty much zero interest, just crickets.
So the goal here was to bring warmth and life back into the home. They focused on highlighting that great family-friendly layout, added some cozy touches like throw blankets and fresh flowers, and set up the furniture to create these really inviting living areas. The transformation was just dramatic. It didn't just get an offer, it got multiple offers.
So, for a home that had been completely ignored for months, what was the final outcome? Under contract and closed in just 10 days. An incredible turnaround, and it was driven entirely by strategic staging.
Okay, so we've seen what staging can do. The results really speak for themselves. Now let's dig into why it is so effective. And it all starts with understanding a really critical distinction. This slide just lays it out so perfectly. Decorating is personal. It's for you. It's about making a space comfortable for your life. Staging is the total opposite. It's impersonal. It's about marketing. The goal is to neutralize the space so it appeals to the widest possible audience and really just showcases the home's best features, not the owner's personal style. And that idea leads us directly into the psychology of why this whole thing works. It taps into the fundamental way people make big, life-changing decisions. Because let's be honest, buying a home isn't just a financial transaction. It is a deeply emotional one. What staging does is help a potential buyer move past just looking at walls and floors. It lets them actually envision their own life happening in that space. And that's how they create an emotional connection. And real estate broker Gwen Fowler puts it perfectly here. A well-presented home removes all the distractions. So instead of a buyer getting bogged down by clutter or trying to figure out where their couch would go in an empty room, they can just connect. They can feel what it would be like to live there. That's the magic. So with all of that in mind, let's bring it all together. What does this actually mean for you and the potential sale of your home? If there's one thing you take away from this, let it be this. You have to reframe how you think about staging. It is not an expense you sink into a sale. It is a strategic investment that is designed to generate a return. And as we saw with that Plymouth cottage, that return comes in both time saved and a higher final price. So the path forward becomes really clear. It all starts with capturing buyers' hearts from the very first photo they see online.
It continues with presenting your home perfectly so it stands out from the competition. And it all comes together to maximize your home's value, which means getting you the best possible outcome.
And that leaves us with one final, really important question to think about. Every single home tells a story, whether you mean for it to or not. So, is yours telling a story of clutter and confusion, or is it telling a story of possibility, of warmth, of a place someone can't wait to call their own? The choice is yours.